Alright guys, as you can see here, this is just going to be a video on how to update from Unc0ver to Taurine jailbreak. So as you can see, I have Cydia here. I'm on iOS 14.2 and I'm going to be updating instead of Unc0ver, changing it to Taurine. So I haven't actually done this yet, and I thought it'd be a good time to show you when I do it. So I'm going to make a cut to the next part here. So what you're going to want to do is download the Taurine jailbreak and sign it through AltStore just like you did with Unc0ver. And from this point on, what I'm going to be doing is going into the Unc0ver app and doing restore rootfs. This is going to take a minute, so I'm just going to pause it and I will come back when it's done. Okay, so we are back, and as you can see, it's finished here. So I'm going to click X and hit OK. And I'm going to respring. I'm actually just going to shut down my device and I'll turn it back on. So it's just starting up now, and it should have no tweaks installed. From there, we're going to be safe to go onto Taurine. Let me make sure you guys can still see it. Yep. Okay, and we're going to do jailbreak. Okay, so I'm just going to check the rootfs, restore rootfs. Probably have to run it one more time. So I just have to do this one more time just with restore rootfs on Taurine as well. So I'm going to do one more pause and I'll be back when this finishes. I just had to reboot one more time and check the restore rootfs on Taurine, and then I was brought up with this message here. Click OK, and it's going to reboot. So as soon as I get to the home screen, I will show you. Jailbreak one more time. I just have the log messages up there just so I can make sure everything's going okay. And as soon as it's done, I'll be right back. Alright guys, how are you? Hopefully everybody's doing good. So I basically just, this is going to be the last part of my video where I did my Unc0ver to Taurine migration. So in the clips you watched prior, things are a little bit put together haphazardly, just because, as I mentioned before, like I said, I just wanted to actually do it for you guys the first time I was doing it as well, just so that when you're going through the process, it's going to be very similar to what you just saw me go through. So all I knew going into that process was I needed to restore the rootfs, and I knew that meant losing my tweaks. But something I wasn't actually, I think I knew, but I had forgotten over the time, since I was jailbreaking a long time ago. Even though your tweaks are gone, the tweak customizations are saved, and even files and images you saved into Filesa are not gone, which I forgot about. So once I went ahead and I got my Taurine installed, and I'm just going to quickly go over that before I go into the next topic. Go into Unc0ver, restore rootfs, power down your phone completely, turn it back on so it's in an unjailbroken clean state, and then from there you launch Taurine, restore the rootfs, and jailbreak. And that's going to take a couple reboot cycles, and when that's done, you should be able to cleanly boot into Taurine, which now I've gotten to the point where I have my tweaks and everything installed. So I'm going to go in here, and I'm going to run the jailbreak for Taurine, and I'll show you that I've got my configuration pretty much back. I'm just experimenting with some home screen stuff right now, so my icons are kind of mismatched and stuff like that, but you'll be able to see that everything is good. I've got my tweaks pretty much back to the way they were. And yeah, that's going to be pretty much it for that. And just while this is loading up, I'm going to show you my current setup here. So this is actually a Hackintosh running, and I'm going to SSH into the host, and I will show you my host and how I have this set up, because that's going to be my next video series where I show how to do a Hackintosh KVM. And if I can manage to enter my password correctly. There we go. So as you can see, before I show you that, my jailbreak here has come back. I might just have to unplug it and plug it in again. It should pop up. There we go. So this should look familiar to my original configuration. So I'm just having some issues here. A couple other things with a couple other tweaks, but that's neither here nor there. It's not for this video. Yeah, so hopefully that covers everything from migrating from Unc0ver to Taurine and getting Cilio, basically. And yeah, so this is my setup here. So this is my host machine, and it's running Arch, but obviously you can tell this is an actual OS X operating system. So if I go ahead and I open a new terminal window, and I run the exact same command, neofetch, without logging into my host, this is this system here. So as you can see, 24 gigs of RAM. I have 3 GPUs. This AMD RX 570 8GB is the one that's running my Mac OS guest operating system. I've got an NVIDIA GeForce GTX 1660 Ti, that's for my Windows gaming machine, and then my Intel iGPU, which basically is running my host. It's running headless, but you know, I activate it sometimes for that, for those purposes. So I can actually go ahead here and I can run Virt Manager, which is what I'm running my OS X virtual machine from. So these are all of my operating systems that I run through guest. They're really basically, there's Linux, Mac, and Windows, just different variations for whether I want certain graphics cards connected to what, because I do a lot of experimenting on what runs better and things like that. So instead of just recreating a whole new operating system, I just clone it and then change the configuration a little bit here and there. And yeah, so I just wanted to show you guys this just to see if any of you were interested in maybe seeing how to make this happen. Because, you know, I use Arch Linux as my host, and things are pretty great when it comes to security, privacy, all types of different reasons why, you know, you might want to do this. But number one, I mean, if there's a bad Windows update that comes out, I literally just, like here, let me open up a new one. I'll show you how easy it really is to go back on a backup. Like, let's say OS X, I run an update through system preferences. I actually have like a few updates actually I've been holding out on that I haven't done just because, you know, I have a feeling that it's going to be a little bit, like, you almost never have an update in a Hackintosh where you don't have to do some more configurations to make it work the same way it did previously. So when I have some free time, that's when I end up doing it. But yeah, let's just assume that something goes bad with this specific operating system, right? What I would do is I would go to where my virtual machine hard drive is stored. So it's actually a file. And for Windows, it's actually on an NVMe drive. I have the whole drive, but let's just assume it's a file like it is for this one, right? I would go to my drives, and then I would go... It's actually, ironically, on a partition called Windows OS X. Hold on here. Computer. Pretty sure it's on Windows KVM, yeah. So anyways, that's where my Mac one is, ironically. But let's say that something goes bad with this. All I would have to do is take a backup version of this file and switch the locations of the file. Like, I could rename it, or I could go in here and I could just change the name to the backup version. Go into the disk, virt.io disk, and just click XML, and all I'd have to do is change the new path directory to the backup and reboot. And next thing you know, I'd be booting up as if that update didn't occur, or whatever happened to break it didn't break it. So that's one of the major reasons why I like it. Another major reason is I don't like Apple and Windows seeing my root directory. All Apple knows is I FaceTime my girlfriend on my computer, and I edit videos, and I jailbreak things. You know, I watch videos on YouTube, stuff like that. Windows, I literally turn it on to open up Steam and maybe watch a video here and there. That's about it. You know, I'll write Python and do schoolwork, stuff like that in OS X. But anything else I'm doing is going to be in Linux, and that's just my personal preference. I don't know how many of you else are out there who like that, but if you want to see any Hackintosh videos, Linux videos, whatever, I know somebody mentioned in the comments previously they wanted to see a breakdown of all of the Linux operating systems. I mean, I don't know exactly how many, but there's thousands. So maybe if you guys want to comment the top 5 operating systems, or 10, maybe 15, 20 operating systems you'd like to see me install, I can do a montage video where I breeze through the installs of all of them and maybe compare them or something like that. Yeah, hopefully you guys are enjoying the content. Hopefully this video helped out. I don't want to go too deep into this right now.